Hey everyone, welcome back with me, Valerie Williams of Dimensional Talent Streams, redirecting you in being fruitful and multiplying. It has been about a week, 2 weeks since you guys haven't seen me. I've been on vacation and just returning. So I'm coming from a kind of a different location today, visually and just emotionally, and kind of wanted to come back on here and talk to you guys this week. It's going to have a kind of a different spin, but still kind of in the wheelhouse and in the vein of business entrepreneurship. Always coming with a motivational, inspirational, empowerment, and kind of what I call a Selah, kind of a ponder, meditate, and think, is what I want to bring to the table today. As you can see, I'm in a different location in a conference room, and that is exactly how I feel that I've come out of conference. So this week, I want to talk about that it's time to advance. Time to advance. And what do I mean by time to advance? If you have been following me on the Dimensional Talent Streams YouTube channel platform, and even if you haven't, look for a video where I talk about the future is now, and the wealth transfer and so forth. And I want to touch on a couple of things. So try to keep up with me if you can. I'm gonna come by with kind of with a drive-through this week and touch a couple of topics that are kind of dear to my heart this week and that I have been going into. And the first thing, as I mentioned, I want to talk to you guys about time to advance. And what do I mean by that when I say time to advance? Again, I've just mentioned about wealth transfer. The future is now. Again, look at my YouTube channel, Dimensional Talent Streams. Like, subscribe, comment, follow, stay tuned to see what Dimensional Talent Streams is up to, where we're going, our goals, things that we have accomplished, and so forth. But first, I want to touch on the wealth transfer. And I know I have been hearing that since I think uh, since early 2000, maybe going back into late 1999, 1989, and so forth. And now we're getting to the point where we're seeing more talk about the wealth transfer. And what does that mean? I mean, you're going to see a lot of people now talking about the wealth transfer. I have been speaking on this for a couple of months back. Again, watch those videos, but coming with a different perspective as I've been, listening to some of these people who have been talking, and I do not have anything against them. I'm staying in my vein and I come to you guys all the time. I don't claim to be the best, the greatest. I'm not shouting to say you should listen to me and nobody else. I don't have time for that. I'm in my lane and I'm speaking to, what is coming through me and in the lane that I am in. So I am not speaking against anybody else that is talking about the wealth transfer. We each get a little piece, and there are different levels, there are different dimensions. And so everybody gets a piece, and then you take those pieces and you put them together and you get a bigger picture. And that kind of directs you as to what you should be doing versus what you shouldn't be doing. So again, I'm staying true to myself. I'm staying in my lane and to the revelation that I have gotten and things that I know I'm supposed to do. And that is what my platform is based on, is I come to you with the knowledge, the experience, the trials, and the errors that I've personally experienced, and then I share, and kind of put that in a revelatory aspect as well, and give that to you. So that is where I am coming from, and that is where I am speaking from. So let's talk about a little bit about this wealth transfer. We know that there is a lot going on in the world with the inflation, just so much going on, even with some of the events that have happened with hurricanes and tornadoes and just weather patterns that are ramping up, in nations and different states and regions being really impacted by some of these weather impacts, which will begin to frequent even more and become more and more intense. It's almost like the earth is groaning and like the earth is travailing. And as a result, because of some of these changes and so forth, it's going to affect weather patterns. It's going to affect our economy. It's going to affect every different areas of our lives of that we have known and grown and have done things for years. And now those things that we have done for years and are used to and privy to and have access to, they are starting to shift and to change. And that is another key word that I have been hearing and seeing is shift. And I know I personally have felt majorly shifted in the past 2 weeks. And it has started to occur with me when I was on vacation, major shift. And I really felt it coming back from my vacation as far as me shifting dramatically. So you may start to hear me say some different things as a result of my shift. I've kind of been immersed in this shift. What do I mean by that? You'll have to stay tuned and hear, like, comment, follow, subscribe to hear what is coming out of me to really be able to tap into how I have shifted. But if you've been following me, you'll see that through what I've been sharing in my content past as opposed to what I will be sharing now. So going back into the wealth transfer, um, I just want to come with an area of caution in regards to the wealth transfer. One of my mantras and what is a tagline of my business is to redirect you into being fruitful and multiplying. And again, I've said twice that I have spoken on the wealth transfer as well, and even on what fruitful and being multiplying, what that means, and being prosperous and all of that. And so I just feel like it's a part of my responsibility. It is a warning for me as well. So I'm preaching to the choir. I'm not accusing anybody. And so I just, like, as I mentioned, want to stay true to me. So with those little minor announcements, I want to give a caution of warning with this wealth transfer. And you have got to know what you are directed to do, what you are supposed to be doing. If you guys know me at all, I like to say that I am a woman of faith. And so my direction and what I'm doing, where I'm going, my correction, everything comes through my faith in the Lord Jesus Christ. So I'm not coming here to condemn, to rebuke any of that. I just want to give caution to you guys who, when you're hearing the wealth transfer and so forth, you have got to know what you have been directed to do. The wealth transfer is going to look different for everybody. And when I say wealth, wealth is just not finances. Wealth can be health. Any area of your life where you are not seeing that abundance, where you are not feeling blessed, where you are not seeing prosperity in, whether it's your health, whether it's relationship, family relationships, dynamics, relationships in general with other people. If you are not seeing blessing and abundance in those particular areas or some of those areas, that is an area where you lack. That is an area where there is not wealth and that abundance and prosperity. There's so much to be said about finances and wealth and so forth. But I just want to again focus on, these messages that we're hearing more prevalently now about the wealth transfer, because I'm seeing how soon is it coming, when is it coming, how much are we getting, and this, that, and the other. And we can really begin to kind of focus on put too much focus on a certain area and lose balance. And when we lose balance and begin to put focus in one area too much, then that is a red flag that we need to pull back, reassess, see what is in us that is driving us, and look at our motives, our attitudes, and our dispositions. And so it may come, so guys, it's going to sound like I'm preaching today. Call it what you want. Call it what you want. As again, my platform, my tagline is to redirect you guys into being fruitful and multiplying. And so, sometimes we got to hear the good, we got to hear the bad stuff along with the good stuff, guys. Sometimes we got to hear those warnings along with the good stuff as well. You wouldn't be doing you justice if I only came and shared the good stuff and I wasn't coming to say, hey guys, look out for this, watch out for that. You know what I mean? So this is one of those messages, teachings, whatever you want to call it, about be careful on everything that we're seeing that is coming out more prevalently on the wealth transfer. You have got to know what is being said to you. You've got to have discernment. You have got to have wisdom, and the wisdom and the discernment has to go through another level for everything that is coming and everything that is here, and the transitions and the shifts that we are experiencing as I speak. And it is a good thing at the same time. It's like an oxymoron. We are in the best place, but it also seems like the best of times, worst of times. We have heard that, and it is very so true right now as we speak. So with this wealth transfer, yes, there is a shift. The wealth transfer is already here. I have even said that the wealth transfer is here. But what is your perception of that? What is your attitude? What is your motives concerning when you hear that word wealth transfer? Because whatever you hear and whatever you're feeling and sensing when I say wealth transfer, and when you hear it from other folks, you want to be able to capture that first thought, emotion, feeling that is coming to you, because that is going to be something you want to tap into, and it's going to be a barometer to see which side of the fence you're on and whether you are off balance and need to come into balance. The wealth transfer is going to look different. It's not going to look the same for everybody right away. Yes, it can come monetarily, but if it doesn't come monetarily, what is that going to do for you? If it comes in a different way for you in the beginning, how is that going to change your stance? What is that going to do to you emotionally and physically? And how is that going to affect how you do things and your relationships with people, family, friends, and so forth? And so that is something that I want to bring to you, to be careful, you know, um, to understand where you stand. Where are you getting your information from? Who is the source of your information? Where are your belief systems? Where are your belief systems founded in? And so I share that as precaution to say, be careful. You have got to pull the reins back. What's being said to you? How are you being directed? Who is your source? Reevaluate who your source is. Because at the end of the day, somebody might be told to do something over here, and that's not what you're going to be called to do. Matter of fact, you may feel directed to do something that is going to be totally against the grain, where people are going to call you crazy, weird, stupid, or what have you. And are you going to be able to stand in what you feel like and how you have been directed to do, when it seems like something that is what everybody else is not doing? Let's be real, what everybody else is not doing. So I want to throw caution to the wind, because sometimes we can get things and it's a test. Sometimes we get those things we ask, we desire, and it's all a test to see if you can be faithful to maintain that thing and to continue to steward it and have it for the longevity. You want longevity. You want to be around to last. You do not want to be a one hit wonder where you're here one moment and gone the next. And before COVID, we were seeing a lot of this. After COVID, we're going to continue to see more of this as well. These people that are popping up and they're not lasting. And why is that? I'm not here to judge. It's a Selah moment to have you ponder and think, and to get you to look at yourself and what you are doing, and who your source is, the information that you're getting, evaluating your alignments, your partnerships, your collaborations, relationships, and so forth. So caution to the wind about the wealth transfer. Yes, it is good. It is happening as we speak. It's coming in many ways. But where are you in the midst of it? Where are you right now in the midst of it? Are you seeing it? And if you're not seeing it, what are you doing about it? How does it relate to you? What is that going to look like for you? But again, look at your motives, look at your attitudes. What are you always thinking about? Look at your passions and reevaluate your desires, and see if you are off kilter. Reevaluate all of those things because again, guys, yes, the wealth is here and it's going to intensify, but in the midst of it, there is testing to see if we can be trusted to maintain that wealth over longevity, over a long period of time, and to be able to be directed in your wealth to do different things and to be able to help in different areas and in different capacities. So that is my warning to you guys, and this is for me as well. And I will tell you guys, in my experience, anytime a warning or anything comes, and if it comes through anybody and you hear that warning, it is first cutting them first. It is first cutting them first because they've got to sit with that. They've got to ponder that, chew on that warning for themselves before they're able to release it. So when I release this, it is for me just as much as you guys. So I am not judging. I am not casting stones or whatever. It is for me just as much as you guys. I'm sharing it with you because I feel like it's a part of my responsibility because that is a part of what I do as a business consultant, and as an entrepreneur. And I have a series out there as well called The Mirror into Entrepreneurship. And in that series, I talk about what business and entrepreneurship does to your character, what it does to you in the sense of things being in you, good and bad, that you did not realize that business and entrepreneurship will pull out of you. And so, this is one of those things, the wealth transfer, and what I'm sharing today is one of those things that it's character related. It is definitely character related, this wealth transfer, and where you are going to be on what side of the coin and how far you go in this time of the wealth transfer, because it's just going to intensify. It is here, it has been here for a while, and it is going to continue to intensify. And you will continue to hear more people speak on it in different ways and strategies that they have for wealth, which is perfectly fine. I'm not here to speak to that. Again, I'm here to speak to what is your character, what is your motive, who is your source, um, do you have wisdom, do you have discernment, those gut instincts. I talk about, your gut and your instinct, and I talk about your three brains and so forth on my on the YouTube channel. So guys, watch those. I implore you, because all of my videos link together, and my videos are going to start shifting with as far as content. I don't know how it's going to. I don't have the verbiage for it. It's just going to be released. So if you look at past videos and compare them now, you'll be able to see how my shifting. But I want to release that today. The second thing that I want to come on and talk about, again, I mentioned about time to advance. And what does that mean when I say time to advance? I have some teachings on there on the future is now and how to pull the future in now and keys to how to pull the future into now. Because the future, what we thought was for later on and much later on down the road, is actually here now. And I've been getting a lot of keys on how to how to pull your future into now, and different ways to do that. Um, and I guess what I really want to articulate about that is to really define for you, what does that mean? And again, you can go back and watch some of my past videos on my Dimensional Talent Streams platform of YouTube, and also Instagram and TikTok as well. But to define pulling in the future in now, those things that we thought are far off. I'm sure you all have, sensed things, felt things, heard things, and you have felt like, okay, that's for later on. That seems like it's down the line, da 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 da. And now when you look back at it, you were like, oh, I remember when I I heard that, or I saw that, or I felt that, and you're seeing that actually happen as we speak. That's an example of the future is now. The future is now. And I want you guys to kind of tap into If you're a business owner, you're an entrepreneur, you're probably saying, how is what you're talking about relating to business and entrepreneurship and so forth? Because everything in our lives touches, if you're a business owner, entrepreneur, everything that we do affects our business. And if you're a CEO or you're the founder of your business, everything that you do, everything that you're a part of affects your business. And so that is how what I'm speaking of today relates to your business. Because how is your business going to fare in this wealth transfer? That is a ponder and think about that. How is your business going to be able to tap into what is happening in this wealth transfer? Are you aware of all of the different facets and streams right now that are flowing in this wealth transfer as a business owner and an entrepreneur? That is how what I'm speaking to relates to you as a business owner, entrepreneur, person that just maybe has a side hustle, and then for those who do not have a business, but you may work a 9 to 5 or what have you, or you're a mom at home, whatever your sphere of influence, this still relatable to you as far as what I'm sharing today. So with that being said, you'll know this future is now. It really is. So you're going to have to look at what is going through your life, your business, look at your foundations, look at where you are now, look at some of those things that you thought were for future, or some of those things that you may be apprehensive about, that you feel like you don't have enough knowledge or wisdom, or you're not skilled in, but you are being forced to move into this direction because the future is pulling you into the now. I'll give an example. The technology, which is always changing and moving so rapidly and quickly. And if you're a business owner and entrepreneur, you know exactly what I'm talking about, because we're trying to keep up with the technology that is constantly changing. We're always hearing about the latest, greatest marketing strategy, the latest and greatest lead generation tools, and how to constantly improve how we're doing things in our business and so forth. And so as a result, we have to learn new things. We have to learn new resources that are current to where we are now, that didn't work, that the tools that we had in the past are not going to assist us and cause us to be successful for where we are now. That is an example of the future is here and the future is now, because you are being forced now to learn and to upgrade yourself, because the future is now involves upgrade, guys. The future is now involves upgrading. It involves upgrading. And so that's just an example of how the future is now. And so think of your life. If you're not a business owner, entrepreneur, side hustler, you're going to have to think about in your life, okay, how this is relatable to you, how this is relatable to you, and how you can catch up with your future, because your future is calling you. And are you going to answer the call of the future, which is now? So that's all I'm going to say on that. There's so much more to be said. Again, like, comment, subscribe to my Dimensional Talent Streams YouTube channel. I'll be, as I get more keys on pulling the future into now, I will be fleshing them out and sharing that with you guys. And so if you follow me, you'll be the first to hear it right hot off the press. So again, going back to what I originally said about timing to advance, these are two areas on how to advance. That's with the wealth transfer and pulling your future into now. Pulling your future into now and knowing what that means. And there's so much to be said. And again, I can't implore you guys enough to just watch my videos on the Dimensional Talent Streams YouTube channel and subscribe and comment, because they're all intermingled and mixed, and they're all so relevant. And I'm not trying to puff myself up, but I'm hearing things now that I'm like, I spoke on that like X amount of months ago, and now it's becoming more and more prevalent. So guys, I implore you, and judge and test for yourselves. Judge and test for yourselves. And you should be doing that with anything that, any information, counsel that you get, you should be judging it and testing it and, and improving it. So again, time to advance involves this wealth transfer, and it involves um, pulling your future into now. And what that looks like for you when you're pulling your future into now, what does that look like for you? I can't define that for you. I can just give a blanket statement, give you some keys as to what, what that is, what that means, and so forth. But you are going to have to pull that belt in around your waist and cinch it in and define what that really looks like for you. And so when I say time to advance, guys, wealth transfer, pulling your future into now, and where are you in those two particular areas? Now, a key, I want to give a key and release a key to this time of advancing. And everything that is going on in our world it seems like it's bad, and it really is good, guys. And again, I talk about this, guys. I talk about how to, your instinct to increase, guys. I talk about developing your gut and stuff. I talk about that being fruitful and multiplying. And even these things that are upon the earth and the nations and states and regions and so forth. And some of them may seem bad, but at the same time, it's good depending on what your perspective is and where you are on the side of the coin, which side of the coin you are, which side of the coin are, which side of the fence, which side of the fence are you on? And so if you're tinkering towards always the negative, then you have got to shift. You've got to make that shift so that you can begin to extract the wealth that's out of what seems like is bad, that wealth that is in that darkness, those hidden riches in secret places, those hidden riches in secret places, guys. You've got to be able to look in that darkness and seeing how you can increase, how you can be fruitful, and how you can multiply in what you think may seem negative and bad. And yes, we get discouraged, and I'm not saying that you don't, and that you don't have those first initial reactions. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, you got to be able to talk yourself off the ledge. You got to be able to, give yourself counsel, and you got to be able to give yourself some wisdom and talk yourself off the ledge. Come into sense, come into right-mindedness, and begin to reason with yourself in a positive manner that's going to have you being able to, at the end of the day, to increase and to prosper, and to be fruitful and to multiply and to have that instinct to increase, because that instinct to increase is within the wealth transfer. I'm going to say that again. The instinct to increase is within the wealth transfer that is going on right now. The instinct to increase is a part of pulling your future into now, guys. Again, you may say, I'm preaching, call it what you want. And you call it what you want. It's because I'm so passionate about it. And as I'm saying this, I'm getting the revelation for myself. I'm getting the revelation as well. And remember, I said this is not to judge, convict, point fingers, whatever, because this is for me as much as for you guys. And because it's for me just as much, I want to be able to release that. I want to be able to share it as well, because I know that we're not an island. We're not by ourselves. And what we think we might be going through, somebody else is going through the same thing. But can you rise and open up your mouth and help somebody that you don't even realize that you're helping, because you are going through that thing, or you are able to articulate what you came out of. So I share that with you. I don't want to do a long kind of session today, but I want to really talk on these keys and, of a time to advance. And one of the major keys of a time to advance is offense. I'm going to say that again. One of the major keys with a time to advance is the word offense. And with everything that is going on, and because of these shifts and changes, guys, you know, some of us are going to be resistant. Some of us are resistant to the changes that have happened and are continuing to happen and are going to intensify. And because of that, we're going to be offended. We're not going to like it. We're going to be offended, and we're going to be attacking one another and doing all kinds of craziness, all kinds of craziness, because things are going to really shift and intensify as the days and time, passes on, continues. And so, guys, I want to address this and say it's time to advance, guys. And these changes that we have seen with COVID and where we're headed and where we're going is forcing us to upgrade and is causing us to shift, is causing us to advance. But if you're on the wrong perspective, you're not going to be able to say that. You're not going to be able to have that aha moment. You're not going to be able to come into that revelation and say, aha. So, like I said earlier, guys, look for the instinct to increase. Look for the hidden treasures, those secret riches in darkness, guys. Look for that because that's a part of the wealth transfer. The wealth transfer is not going to be in some of the obvious places. I mean, is not going to only be in these obvious places. The wealth transfer may be in some areas that are not obvious, guys. But you've got to have an instinct to recognize that. You've got to have the wisdom to recognize that. But if you're offended, you're not going to be able to tap into that and be able to be a partaker of it, guys. So offense. And there's so much that I can say about offense, but I just want to stay in my lane today and relate it to the wealth transfer, pulling in the future, and how it all is a part of advancement. It's a part of your advancing. If you're a business owner, entrepreneur, you know how sometimes our clients, our customers can get on our nerves, you know. And so, because you're facing it every day, we all face it. This is not something that we do not face, and that is in the area of being offended. And so, I want to speak on that and tell you guys time to advance. And one of the keys of that is dealing with offenses. And sometimes it comes blatantly. Sometimes it comes subtly. Sometimes we don't even realize what we're doing. We don't even realize what we're doing. Sometimes it comes when we think we're doing something good and that we're doing something good. And at the end of the day, the root and the motive of it is offense. Sometimes I'm going to say that again because that blows my mind. That blows my mind. Sometimes we think we're doing something good and we think we're helping somebody or that we may be giving a warning. And at the end of the day, the root of it is offense. The root of it is offense. There's some fine lines, guys, even in this area of offense. And it all goes back to your motive, root systems like where you're rooted, what your stance, what your belief in, your source in, you know, all of that comes into play with this. So, time to advance, one of the keys is dealing with offense. And it's all a part of that character development because it's going to come in different forms. It's going to come in different ways. It's going to come, it's going to come just so subtly and crafty, and we're going to respond in offense and not realize it until it's too late, or we already operated in that thing. We've already operated in that area of offense. It sounds so simple, guys, but there's just some craftiness that I'm seeing in this area of offense, some real craftiness that I can see that that we're walking in it and we don't even realize it. And we, some of us, we've been doing it for so long that now we don't realize. And some of us are just plain oblivious. And then there's some of us who are crafty. We know what we're doing, but there's some self-righteousness in there. There's some spiritual pride in there as well. And because of the spiritual pride and so forth, we're operating in an offense and we're not even realizing it. But I want you to catch that balloon, pride, because pride is wrapped up in that offense. When there is, because how do we get offended? Let's break it down. How do we get offended? When somebody does us wrong, when there's a disagreement, because an argument, a disagreement, when somebody does us wrong, how does somebody do us wrong? When there's two different opinions, and then when there's emotions that get high in the midst of doing those the opinions and actions and things get said, and then and then we have offense and we carry that thing, or we think we put that thing down, and then something else happens and boop, it pops up again. And so it's really rooted in arguments. It's rooted in pride. And as business owners and entrepreneurs, there's some of us who've been around here for years, 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 and are successful. And what we do, we can run laps and circles around, other business owners and entrepreneurs and side hustlers. And so that is something, if we're not careful and looking at ourselves and evaluating ourselves and grounded, and again, looking at who our source is, and what we're believing in, that can easily well turn it into pride. But I'm sharing with you guys, if anything at all, that out of offense comes the pride. The root of it is pride and arguments, pride and arguments. And some of it is internal because sometimes we may not voice it. We've got those that will voice it, and then we've got those that are silent in, it looks like we're silent on the outside, but in the outside we're warring. In the outside we are warring. There is a battle going on, and we are doing all this emotional stuff internally. So there's 2 points: the ones that are vocal with their offense, and then there's the ones who are being quiet, but there's a whole lot of stuff going on the inside. And so I share that with you as time to advance, time to, look at your life, look at your activities and what you're doing, and look at this area of offense, look at this area of the wealth transfer. The future is now, because really these three aspects is really a call and a time to advance. Now, there's so much more in a time to advance, but these were some key bullet points that I felt like I needed to come and address and to share with you guys. Again, I'm Valerie Williams, founder, CEO of Dimensional Talent Streams, where I redirect you in being fruitful and multiplying. And I share the platform with business owners, entrepreneurs, side hustlers, those who are looking for a business opportunity. That's what my platform is. But I'm so blessed that, this platform is even for the non-business owner who doesn't have a business, because some of these things that we deal with as business owners and entrepreneurs, it's everyday life as well. It's something that we deal with in everyday aspect of our life, so that you can also glean from what is being said as well. So I share those again in the midst of all of it. We're being upgraded. So some of these things, dealing with offense and advancing in offense, meaning being able to overcome it, being to know the strategy and know your weak points and know how to guard against it and what to do, and being mindful to say, you're not going to get offense. And it's not as easy to say, I'm not going to get into offense, and then you just go on your day and it's easy peasy. There's some things that got to be done. It's work. It's work, and it's a lifestyle. It's work, and then it has to turn into a lifestyle, and it's something that you do every single day, that it's like going to the gym, and you've got to work your muscles out, and dealing with offense is a part of that. Is that when you're trying to deal with it. So I share that with you because, this is the wealth transfer. We're being upgraded, And some of you guys, I know I could see some of you guys. I can see and I can hear some of the comments, guys. My goodness. And I can see some of you just frowning up your faces, and I can see y'all just like, what is she talking about? What does that have to do with me? What does that have to do with what she said? What she said her platform is, and da 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 da. I can see some of y'all. I can even hear some of y'all arguing as we speak with spouses and whatnot. I can see, I can see it and I can hear it. And this is for you. This is for you. And if you're feeling like you got pricked, or you are even feeling like, like you don't have no patience, and this, that, and the other, and you ready to turn, or you ready to turn this off, or whatever the case may be, this is for you. You're in the right place. So I want to encourage you that you're being upgraded right now. If you can just hang tough and press in, even beyond what is being said here today. You can press even beyond what is being said today. You're being upgraded, and congratulations. Congratulations. This just scraping the surface. And that is what these times are doing. They're scraping us. They're upgrading us, but they're scraping all that dead stuff. They're buffeting us like a diamond, and in the process that a diamond goes through. That's what's going on with us, and with all these shifts and changes and lane changes and modifications and dropping some things all together and everything. It's just a lot of activity going on, guys. And so, I just want to encourage you guys, empower you guys, give you something to ponder and think about, use something to ponder and think about, and to find yourself in the process of this, because there's a lot of activity going on, but you can't do what everybody is telling you to do. You cannot even listen to what everybody is saying, because you're going to be tossed to and fro, and totally confused and overwhelmed and fearful and discouraged, lose heart, and boom, and then you're out of the race. You're out of the race. The race is not given to the swift, but those that can endure to the end. The race is not given to the swift, but to those who can endure to the end. And in order to be able to endure to the end, these are some of the nuggets, some of the balloons, some of the tidbits that's going to be given to us to get you to endure to the end. Remember, I shared earlier about one hit wonders and being able to last. 1 minute they're here today, and then they're gone tomorrow. Or maybe they've been on the scene for years, and then all of a sudden, boom, they're gone. And it seems like they disappeared so quickly. And it's because of things that we're coming into, such as this, but in a greater intensity shall it come. And so, this is to help your race. This is to help you finish strong. This is to help you go even deeper. This is to help you to sit there and really Selah and wrestle with yourself and see what's in your gut. Are you developing that instinct to increase? Can you receive this as an instinct to increase? Can you receive what is being shared today about a time to advance and dealing with offense, dealing with wealth transfer, dealing with pulling your future into now? Can you see that as an instinct to increase? Can you see that as developing your gut? Can you see that as being fruitful and multiplying? Oh, can you see that we need to go back to our foundations and reassess our foundation and look for those cracks and those crevices? Can we see that? So I challenge you guys with that, but at the same time, I challenge you guys with all of this, but at the same time, it is to empower you, to encourage you, to exhort you, to implore you, with all of that. This is not, again, to condemn, to judge. I'm staying in my lane, and that's what this platform is. I only speak to, what I've come through, what I've experienced, my experiences, and so forth, and the revelation I am currently still receiving and am receiving, and still things that I'm coming through, and my mistakes, and so forth. And so that is what I'm speaking out of. And so I share that with you. So that is going to do it for me today, guys. I hope that you and trust that you got some value out of this. Again, this is to help. This is to cause you and to redirect you, really, guys, to redirect you in being fruitful and multiplying. So I hope that you got some value that you received from this, that you can be able to write some things down, or that something hit you in the side where you got to say, "Ow, I got to go sit with that. What was that all about?" And cause you to go further in that thing. And if you're not in this place right now, you will be. You will be, because what is coming, you will be. So, grab a hold of this, chew on it, meditate, go further in this, investigate it even more, sit with it, review who your source is, who your alignments are, where your convictions lie, who your partnerships, your collaborations are with, because we are all being shifted in this time. We are all being upgraded at this time. But do you have that strength to be upgraded? TD Jakes had a message years ago, can you stand to be blessed? And that message is so relevant even today. I don't remember when it came out. I got in the 90s, I want to say. I might be dating myself, maybe the 80s, but that message is still relevant today, because I can hear that now. Can you stand to be blessed? Because that's really what it is about. And again, it's going to look different for different people, because we're being dealt with in different ways. But at the same time, even though we're being dealt with, it is a blessing. It's increase. It is causing you to be fruitful and multiply. And why is that? Because that's something that you lack. That's something you didn't have before. And now, because you are able to come into the revelation of that thing, the teaching, or to hear that wisdom of that thing, that's something now that you're getting it, it's something that you can begin to grow into and really be fruitful. Because when you think about fruit has different phases, and in order to, when it's really at its most fruitful state, is when it begins to multiply and duplicate, is really when it becomes in its most fruitful state. And that's why you'll see that, my tagline is directing and being fruitful and multiplying, because we just don't want to leave it at the fruit. We want to multiply. We want to multiply, because that is the next dimension in being fruitful, is to multiply in a good way. Because there's fruit that is, not good fruit, and there's a way to multiply and not a good way. But so there's two different spectrums, the good and the bad. I'm talking about the good being fruitful, and the good multiplication. So guys, I'm gonna come off my soapbox right now. That's gonna end it for me. Join me again next week. I'll be back next week. Like, subscribe, comment, follow me on the Dimensional Talent Streams YouTube channel, where you can be, when I put something up, you'll be one of the first to get a notification about that. And stay tuned to what Dimensional Talent Streams is up to, and follow us, like and subscribe. See where we're going, see what our goals are, our mission is, things that we have accomplished, and so forth. So that will do it for me. Again, I'm Valerie Williams of Dimensional Talent Streams, as always, hoping to redirect you in being fruitful and multiplying. See you guys next week. Bye bye.